Rebecca Kiessling is with us now. First of all, I'm so sorry to hear about your sons. You're honoring their legacy. You're carrying it on. They would be grateful and proud. What doesn't most Americans understand when you hear us in the media or you talk about the fentanyl crisis?
Well, first of all, I actually really felt very encouraged hearing you talk, because I haven't heard enough until this past week, really. And so to hear it really being shouted from the media is extremely encouraging. I felt completely deflated after the hearing, after hearing all of the Democrats say that this is fear-mongering and that there's xenophobia, that it's racism to want to have border control. I don't get it. I mean, you just listen to the testimony of all of the Latina women who are being trafficked, and they'll die within a couple of years. How is that being xenophobic?
Yeah.
We care about them. And fentanyl doesn't care what race you are. It kills everybody.
It certainly does. Actually, at least in the suburban Atlanta story that we referenced earlier, Julia's death, the majority of the young teens who are dying of fentanyl poisoning in suburban Atlanta are Hispanic themselves. It's a point they make. Affects Black and brown communities, sometimes at an even higher rate than it does white communities. I want to think about Caleb and Kyler, your sons. What is it that they didn't know the dangers of these pills? Do you think kids now just don't understand that fentanyl is mixed into everything? They're kids. They think they're invincible. What would be your message to parents about this?
Well, I'll tell you, my son Caleb told me that it started with kids who were bringing prescription pills from their parents' medicine cabinets, unlocked medicine cabinets. And so I think they had the illusion that they're still getting, pills that were stolen from parents' homes. I don't think that they realized that these were not real and that they were deadly. In fact, my son Caleb, just before he died, he wanted to start speaking in schools. He had been clean, and he wrote about why he never did heroin or meth, because he knew that those were deadly, and he saw, their birth mothers' friends dying from overdoses on heroin, and so they didn't want to die.
No, I'm so sorry. In your testimony, you talked about this being a war and the need to treat it like that. We had on Vivek Ramaswamy. He's a Republican running for president. He was on the show just after your testimony. And we asked him about this question. Take a listen to his answer.
Treating the cartels like terrorists doesn't just mean freezing their assets, which is what some believe. I think it means justified military force to decimate the cartels. Osama bin Laden style, Soleimani style. This is doable. And this is something that I actually expect to do as the next president of the United States.
The flip side of that is if we declare war on the cartels and send young American men and women into northern Mexico to take them out, it becomes a war. More Americans will die in it, just like they died in the war on terror. They died in Somalia, battlefields across the world. Why is it worth declaring a war and risking American soldiers' lives to stop the cartels?
I know some people think, is it worth fighting for people who are drug addicts? Again, these are our children. It's become the #1 cause of death for children ages 1 to 7. I mean, how tragic is that? There's a man who contacted me. His 6-year-old daughter and 10-year-old daughter are addicted in Oregon because it's so bad there. We have to do something. We have to have a response.
Yeah. As you point out, they continue to push their drugs on younger and younger kids and on more and more kids. The death rates are now growing exponentially among people who just are tragic and innocent victims. All right, Rebecca, thank you for being with us. Doesn't seem like this story is going away. We'll be thinking about you, and we'll check back in, all right? Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.